Hey guys, thanks for joining. This channel is all about PC tech, flight simming, VR, and cryptocurrency mining. Today I want to talk about a recent upgrade I did to my home Wi-Fi network and internet network using Xfinity. I went from the Xfinity XB3 router to the Xfinity XB7 Gigabit router, and I also switched my Wi-Fi over from the Apple Airport Extreme, which is probably about 7-8 years old, something like that, to the Gigabit Wi-Fi router from Xfinity. Just wanted to talk with you about a study that I did within my house to give you an idea of the range of this base station on its own. So let's take a look at that. All right, guys, so why am I doing this? Well, I thought by giving you this information, it might help you with a decision to upgrade or use the Xfinity XB7 Gigabit router in your home. If you have an older router or an older modem and you're using Xfinity service, just to give you an idea whether this makes sense for you. So in any event, the before and after. So we've got a bunch of stuff in the house here: PCs, iPhones, iPads, Xboxes, TVs, Apple Watches, on and on and on. 30, 40 devices, something like that. A lot of devices. Prior to the upgrade, I was using an Apple Airport Extreme, pretty old router. It's been great, have no problems with it. It's got a lot of great features, and I had a connected Ethernet to an Xfinity XB3 router in bridge mode. I had the service of 600 megabits per second down and around 17 up, and that was costing me like $127 a month for that service. And then I had a router that I hadn't updated. It was a B6, I guess it was, and I hadn't updated. I said, let me call Xfinity to see if there's a new router, which I did. Researched and found out there was this B7 available, called them to get the B7, and then I found out that I could get gigabit service with 1 gig down, and they said 37 up, but I'm actually getting higher than that, at least in my tests, for $20 less a month. So I went from $127 a month to $107 a month, which is $240 a year. Why not, right? So they sent me this Xfinity B7 router, and I said, okay, well, let me try this to see if it's a better Wi-Fi solution. So I installed that router and created a separate network, still keeping the Airport Extreme in place. That network's in place as we migrate stuff over, but I created a separate network. But before I did all this, I went around and I did tests with my iPhone XR to get speeds from a number of rooms within the home, just to get an idea of what the before and after is, right? So I did testing with the Airport Extreme connected to the XB3, and then I did a test with just the Xfinity XB7. So we're going to take a look at the results of that. I'm going to show you some parameters around this. So basically, it's the gigabit service from Xfinity. The baseline speed that I'm getting from my gaming PC, which is hardwired to the XB7, is about 808 megabits down and 41 megabits up. So that's a major improvement right there, because I was getting about around 600 down and like 17 up, which is great for me, because streaming, now I'm getting more than double the upload speed, which is awesome. So the test was done with an iPhone XR using speedtest.net. I used the same remote server for the test, the same exact server every time. Coverage area in my house is about 3,200 square feet, and that includes the basement, okay? And each result that you're going to see is an average of 3 tests that I took from the middle of each room. Right, so let's take a look at the layout. All right, so this is the front view. So if you look at the basement, that red dot is where the Xfinity BX7 is located, about 3 feet off the ground on a shelf. And we've got 3 rooms in the basement. We've got multiple rooms on the first floor. We got multiple rooms on the second floor. And I tried to give you an idea of the walls and the floors involved, so that when you take a look at the topographical, maybe you can get an image for what kind of material the radio signal has to go through from the iPhone to the router. So that's the front view. Let's take a look at the basement view. Now, this is a topographical view. So the office over here to the right is where the XB7 is installed, again, about 3 feet off the ground. And I'm getting 608 down, 41 up on the iPhone, which is phenomenal. The second room, which is one wall over, same floor, 525, 41. And then the third room, which is sort of like a entertainment room, exercise area. We do a lot of stuff in here. This is 395 down, 41 up. which is really solid. Now, when you take a look at the comparison numbers towards the end here, you'll see why I'm really happy with this. Okay, so the basement floor where that device is located is very usable. You get a little degradation as you get through a couple of walls here, but it's still pretty damn good. What you see in yellow are highly used areas, right? So first floor, topographical view again. We'll go room by room here. Room number 1, which is the furthest away from the router. This was notoriously a really, really bad room with the old system. I mean, I would get like, I think I got like a 40 or 50 megabit down and like 12 megabit up, something like that. It was always poor and pretty spotty, like it would actually fluctuate quite a bit. So that boosted up to 171.23, which is awesome. Room 2, 207.41. That's going to be an improvement as well. You'll see that. Room 3, this is where we spend a lot of time. 243 down, 41 up. Awesome, because this is where we've got streaming and all that. And this was actually got as high as like 270 or 260, something like that. This was an average number after I took 3 readings. Room 4, 225.39. Room 5, a lot of usage in this room. 416.38. That's incredible when you see what it used to be. Room 6, 210.37. Now that's interesting because it's right above the router. It's less than this room, which is about 25 feet from the router and has a floor and at least one wall to go through. Room 7, 248.38. Room 8, 286.38. So you can see the upload speeds are all really good, except for this room, which is usually the bad, but it's still a lot better than it was. Then now even outside on the deck, 168.24, which is fantastic when you see the comparison. Let's take a look at the second floor. So room 9, furthest away from the router, 85.35. Not surprising. This is always kind of like a bad area, but still an improvement you'll see over the last one. Room 10, 247.41, very solid. Room 11, 90.40, very solid. Room 12, 348.41, interesting. Room 13, 97.38, and room 14, 147. So this is 2 floors above, right above the router, 147.37. So now let's take a look at the comparisons. So I put this chart together. These columns on the left are the old modem with the Airport Extreme. The baseline was about 600 megabits per second down and 17 up, so it's 598. We'll call it 600. And the second column over here is the new router, the XB7 all-in-one, so excluding the Airport Extreme. DirectPC was 808 down, 41 up. And again, all these speeds now are going to be with the iPhone XR Wi-Fi. So what I try to do is show you the change in download and the change in upload. And you can see it's all pretty significant. So on the basement, certainly improvement in the upload when we went from like 17 to 41.39, so major improvement there, but not a whole lot of improvement, significant improvement, I should say, in the basement. But when you go to the first floor, you really start to see the areas. So again, the high traffic areas were pretty phenomenal. But let's take a look at that first room here, the room 1, which was the notorious bad room. Okay, room 1 was 40.14. That jumped up to 117.23. So here we see a 328% improvement in download speed, which is really what I care about in that room. We're not uploading much, and still an upload from 6 to 64%, which is great. We'll take a look at room 2. Room 2 over here, we went from 48.12 to 207.41. Significant improvement. High traffic areas, 52.11 to 243 to 41. That's a great improvement. So I was getting issues like streaming on Apple TV and stuff where sometimes videos would stop or whatever. I don't think that's going to be happening anymore now that we've got, over 200 megabits per second in that room. So that's awesome. Room 4, improvement as well. Room 5, another high traffic area. We went from 164 to 416 and 14 to 38. So that's a major improvement as well, which is welcomed. Room 6, 210.37. So room 6, which is right above the router, we went from 161.15 to 210. Okay, 37. And similar improvements as we move through. Look at the deck, though. 32.11 to 158.22. So a 400% improvement in download speed. Room 7, a 335% improvement in download speed. So pretty phenomenal. So now let's look at upstairs, just as a reminder. So this is what the upstairs kind of looks like. This is pretty far away from the router. So we've got some big improvements here. 130% improvement, 300% improvement, 73% improvement. So the notorious bad area, which was this room here, room 9, okay, we got 130% improvement, which is fantastic. But the rooms that are used a lot, we've got some nice improvements. Look at this one. We went from 49 to 358, 631%. Can that actually be right in room 12? Room 12 right here? Couldn't believe that one. Yeah, so basically improvements in every room, some major significant improvements. I was always thinking with the old system, do I need to do an extension? And I was actually going to buy a third-party mesh network routing system, which is going to cost me $300-400. And this router, I think, cost me, what do they charge, $8 a month to rent it or something like that? Okay. So, I'm paying for that router, so it costs me money to do that. But still, I was going to buy a third-party separate system to upgrade to a mesh network, which is actually interesting because this XB7 gives you the opportunity to add these pods to the network if you want to extend it. And that's what I was kind of looking at here. Do I really need to extend service to the first or second floor, particularly the second floor, because service is bad up there? But I think the conclusion of that is no. But let's take a look at the summary here. So overall, the XB7 and gigabit service was a major improvement, especially in the Wi-Fi area. It's much better Wi-Fi service to the highly used areas, as well as the areas where I was having troubles, basically solve those problems, right? And really, when I take a look at the results, I don't think there's really any need to add an extension. Now, I'm going to be watching this over the next month or so as we actually use the system. And if the folks in the house, are complaining about Wi-Fi signals, then, we may look at that. It's $120 to add that pod. But right now, I really don't think I need it. I mean, you look at the high traffic areas, we're getting really, really high rates. These are the areas where people spend the most time. So why would I add a pod to increase that from 416? Do I really need any more download speed than that right now? I don't think I do. So there's really no need to add a mesh pod extension at this point. I'm going to eventually phase out the airport Extreme router because obviously it's not providing as good a service as the new router system. And finally, and really the bottom line is I'm saving $20 a month by upgrading from the 600 megabit service to the 1 gigabit service. So, and it took me like 45 minutes to install and switch everything over that I was going to switch over. And I used the standard installation that you use with the Xfinity app on your phone, which was super simple to use. It basically took all of the configuration information from the old router and moved it into the new router, which was great. So saving money, simple to upgrade, it was a no-brainer. So I'm really happy with it. And again, over the next month or so, we'll see how people react to using it within the home environment here. So I hope this study was helpful for you to give you an idea of how it would operate within your home. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button if you like what you saw. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more PC tech, VR, flight simulation, and cryptocurrency videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.